Let's go over Star Wars when it comes to Mark Hamill and his view on the future of the franchise. This is Mike Zero here once again. If you guys are new here to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, with The Last Jedi now on Blu-ray, as we await the official release of Solo: A Star Wars Story on May 25th, one of the biggest questions, of course, is exactly how many films will we be getting when it comes to Disney Star Wars, and exactly the duration between certain films. Now, this is what Mark Hamill had to say in an interesting article by Screen Rant. He actually goes over how he's quite concerned about oversaturation when it comes to Disney Star Wars. So if you guys would like to go ahead and check out the full story, it will be linked below in the description, but this is what Mark Hamill had to say. He states, "I will say, they should pace themselves because you don't want to oversaturate it. I said to Disney, really? 5 months after we come out, comes Solo: A Star Wars Story? Can't you at least wait until Christmas?" But they've got things booked. They're doing Marvel and their own movies, so that's beyond my purview. He goes on to say, well, there shouldn't be a limit to the storytelling, as it's a canvas that's so infinite with the standalone films. They can all have their own identity. Rogue One can be gritty and like a war film, I'm assuming, I don't know, but I would assume that Solo will be a more comedically oriented because he's a rogue, a scoundrel, and a gambler, and a womanizer, and all of those things. So I think the advantage of the standalone films is that they don't have to follow the formula of a trilogy, so they can establish their premise, get it on, get it done, and get out, leaving the audience wanting for more. So there's infinite possibilities. So in the first part of that statement, Mark Hamill does actually address that, Disney shouldn't oversaturate the franchise, and this is actually something that I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, and it is one fear, I believe, in the Star Wars community, is that we don't necessarily want the Star Wars franchise to become an oversaturated property where, maybe they start just putting out a ton of movies that don't have much substance to it. And I think that looking at what they have done so far they have done great. I know that The Last Jedi had a lot of bad backlash and criticism, but I'm really crossing my fingers that Solo: A Star Wars Story will pretty much get the same exact type of feedback that Rogue One did. And even The Force Awakens, most people, I believe, liked that film. There were a handful that actually disliked that movie as well, but if looking at the future here, it really does open your eyes. What Mark Hamill said is that the standalone films can really just do their own thing, get it done, and leave the fans wanting more standalone movies that can just do their own thing and not actually set it up as a trilogy of sorts. So looking at Star Wars 2020, I'm very much curious as to what's happening with that when it comes to Disney and Lucasfilm, on whether or not they're choosing that to be the Boba Fett movie or the Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars movie. It could either, either be 2020 or 21, we really don't know. But looking at the future, I really am crossing my fingers that the Star Wars franchise doesn't get too oversaturated, because once again, it's not just movies. We're getting live-action TV shows, we're getting animated TV shows as well on their Disney streaming service that will be launching in 2019. So, where we are right now, of course we want more Star Wars, right? Star Wars is a great franchise, we always want more of that. And looking at the future, I'm just really hoping that, well, it just doesn't get too oversaturated to the point where we get Star Wars fatigue. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.